It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Moor Beer Company and it's a can of their smoked lager. Have a look at the artwork on this can. I'm loving that. Loving that. I'll tell you why I love that. Now, look, you've got the smoke coming from chimneys and it's passing through the Moor branding. I think that is absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm going to say, this is a smoked lager at 4.2% ABV. It's in a 440 milliliter can. But I'm going to let you into a little secret. I know it's a little bit weird, but I've always had a little bit of a fascination with fire. I bought this house as a 20-year-old, just out of my teenage years, 20 years of age. I'll tell you a little story. Let's pour the beer out first. Oh, that caught me by surprise. I was expecting, you know how dark that can looked? For some reason, I was expecting the lager to be kind of black. And I almost jumped when I seen the colour of this beer. So why was I thinking, maybe because it's black, maybe because it's dark label. I just had it almost looks Halloweeny, don't it? It's almost got a Halloween feel about it. But I was almost convinced that I was going to be pouring out but of course, don't be silly, Simon. That would be a smoked porter, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be a smoked lager, it would be a smoked porter. Wake up. Right. With that bit out the way, one finger whitehead, good levels of carbonation. I'll tell you my story in a bit. So we have a hazy, light. It's between straw coloured and light amber, I would say, describing the look of the beer. It's nice and hazy, good levels of carbonation. There is a widget on the bottom of the glass, so it might be causing, if you don't use a widget, if you don't use a glass without widget, then you might have a less of a carbonation in your glass than mine if you're drinking along with me, which I know some people do. Aroma on the beer then. It smells like a Sherlin Curler. Sherlin Curler or some of those traditional German smoked lagers. They've almost got an aroma of smoked bacon. I've not had one of these in a long time. So what they use, it's a special malt that is slightly smoked. So I'm pretty sure this would probably be a Weyermann, if you're of the German kind of, if you know German brewing, if you understand German malts, this would probably come from Weyermann. Big maltsters in Germany. It smells delicious. If you haven't had a smoked lager before, you might put this to your nose and you might go, ooh. And it might throw you a little bit. Open your mind up. Don't let it throw you. It's smoked malt. It's got an almost peaty, almost like smoked peat aroma to it, like a really good whiskey aroma. A little bit of sweetness in there to balance it out. Shall we dive in? Cheers, everybody. Oh, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Stone the Crows. Stone the Crows. So this is a balance of a really good tasting lager and a beer that is smoked. I would say it's it's more smoked on the aroma. You're definitely picking up a little bit more of that smokiness on the aroma. In the taste, it's more of a balance. It's more of a balance between a really good German lager and with a bit of that smokiness in there, just to kind of, you don't want too much. You don't want to be overwhelmed. You don't want to just be tasting smoke and peat and blah. I brewed an Imperial Stout once with a company in Norway, and we used a peated whiskey barrel that was like full on, full strength peat and full strength like smoky, peaty flavours, and it overwhelmed the Imperial Stout. I don't mind saying this, I brewed the beer, they found the barrel. It was just too much, way too much of that kind of whiskey, peaty flavour made its way into the beer, and it sent the balance of the flavour, it sent it way too peaty, smoky. It dominated the flavour even. It even dominated the roasted flavours in the beer, which is a bit of a shame. But this is perfectly balanced. You're getting lager, then you're getting a peaty smokiness, a bacony smokiness. The beer is just above. In fact, shall we do something crazy? Should we go? So you guys have been sitting on this perfect draft. That's where you've been sitting. And the peaty, smoky beer that I brewed in Norway was that one there. The Lichfield microbrewery barrel-aged stout. That beer is about 9 years old. They're all my collaborations, by the way. Every single one of those beers up there is a collaboration brew that I brewed with a company, and a couple of my old Rocky video discs up there. But anyway, back to it. I just wanted to show you that. So we put a lot of effort into this beer. A lot of effort went in. It was boxed, packaged really well, and in the end it was just a bit too smoky. So lessons to be learned, and I suppose, I know it's a completely different brewery. This is a UK brewery, that's a Norwegian brewery, but they've managed to smack it here. They've managed to get it absolutely perfect, spot on. A lovely, well-rounded, drinkable lager, nicely carbonated, fantastic drinkability with a little bit of that smoky, peaty flavour. Now, my quick story on fire. I promised you a quick story. So, when I first moved here as a 20-year-old, always a little bit fascinated by fire. Always lit fires in the garden. So people would bring wood to me. I would like nothing more. I wouldn't watch the telly. I was living on my own here when I first bought the house. Wouldn't watch much television. I much prefer grab a few beers, sit in the garden, and I used to light a little fire. Little bit of music playing, look at the stars, music playing, little fire going. That was me. I was happy. So when I first moved in, of course, I didn't have the money to all the fireplaces in this house. Now I live in a 2-up, 2-down terraced house, but all the fireplaces, like most are these days, have been blocked up. So over the last 22 years of me living here, 23 years now, I've, as some of you know by the videos, I've unblocked fireplaces. I've found old cast iron fireplaces. I managed to find a great old, fantastic pub fireplace that's huge, and that's in my dining room with an overmantel. So the 4 fireplaces in this house originally, or there would have been 5, there would have been one on the back kitchen here, but that was totally removed before I moved in. They went top to bottom and they took the fireplace down. So there was 5 original fireplaces in the house. I've restored 4. So there's 4 working fireplaces in this house. On the pine end of the house, all of the fireplaces, the bedroom fireplaces and the fireplaces down here work. And I like them. I like them in the winter. It's quite a special thing. I quite like it. So when I seen that label, big round story on this one, I do apologise. So when I seen this label with all the chimneys burning, and I just thought, oh, that's terrific. I'm probably going to put that up on the shelf there, that can, because I really like that branding. I think it's superb. Also, the beer matches the label. This beer has a lot in common with me. Fires and smoke, and yeah, lovely. Brilliant. I like that enough to give it a Stone the Crows. I'm going to give that a 10 out of 10. I think it's superb. It's a 10 out of 10 beer from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.